If I were a betting man right now, I would say that we will go through times when there is a shortage of food.
We've got to stay on top of what's going on. We can't let our guard down and just assume that, well, we've got enough now, we'll have enough later.
Long before the California gold rush in the mid-1800s, North Carolina grew its own gold.
This built North Carolina, built it, and in fact, it built this country.
The golden leaf.
Tobacco was at one time the official currency of the colonies. So yeah, this is what built North Carolina and for a large part the United States. Tobacco is still the #1 cash crop in North Carolina. People wouldn't believe that, unless they look it up.
From tobacco to corn to cucumbers, peanuts to potatoes, soybeans to blueberries. Agriculture as a whole still ranks at the top of the state's revenue food chain, accounting for more than $80 billion annually.
That's pallet number 2.
And feeding the state's growing population, which has swelled by almost 1 million new residents since 2010, the 5th fastest growing state in the country.
North Carolina is increasing its population by about 100,000 people per year, and we need housing for them.
Housing developments have eaten up farmland at a record rate. Since 1982, North Carolina has lost more than 22,000 farms and 2 million acres of farmland, equating to almost half of the state's working farms.
At one stage, I think we lost the most farmland in the whole country, 600,000 acres between censuses.
It's of great concern because we'll never get that farmland back. It's gone.
This barn that's grown up in the ivy there, that's where my dad built in '47, and that's where we lived.
Still see the foundation?
Yeah, the foundation's here.
Larry Roper grew up on this dairy farm on the outskirts of scenic Hendersonville in rural Mills River, eventually buying it from his dad after he and his high school sweetheart Joanne said, "I do."
It means a lot. It's my whole life was right here. Yeah, there's a lot of good times, a lot of bad times.
For the next 30 years, Larry worked 12-hour days growing corn crops and milking cows to keep his dairy business running.
I didn't know there was any other way of life, so I didn't see it as being hard. I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
I didn't see nearly as much of Larry after we married as I had when we were dating because of the long hours he worked.
My plan was to retire from the farm when I was 70 because I couldn't handle all the land and doing the hay and stuff by myself anymore. It was just more than I wanted to handle.
With retirement looming and their daughter not interested in taking over the family farm, the Ropers received an unsolicited offer from a real estate developer.
I was really shocked when we got the offer since we didn't have it on the market. It was very emotional, but all at the same time we had been praying for about 5 years that the Lord would help us to know when the time was right.
We met Wednesday, we talked about it, we put a price on it and signed the contract Thursday afternoon. Saturday after lunch, we had a down payment.
The original developer's plans fell through. Only weeds and memories are abundant here now.
We rather still see it in farming as opposed to in houses.
So you just assume someday that there'll be houses?
Oh, I'm sure there will. When we left, it was all sowed down for hay.
That was a decade ago, and this is only the second time Larry and Joanne have been back since.
I have a rumbling in my stomach. I hope I don't throw up. There's a lot of good memories here, but it really hurts to come back. I miss it.
We had a lot of happy times here, a lot of hard work and long hours, but it was a good life.
When I bought this farm, this was actually wooded with an old pack house right there.
That's where all the wood comes from.
Yeah, and no pond. I built the pond and cleared this land back here, so there've been a lot of changes over the years. My family has actually been in Guilford County since 1755. My great-grandfather and his twin brother owned a large tract of land right in this area.
Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler has witnessed the conversion of farmland to residential real estate firsthand.
We've got a huge housing development back here. And of the 10 farms that I was farming, 5 of them are now housing developments.
Since 2000, the value of farmland has risen from $2,450 per acre to $4,450 in 2017, an 82% increase over the last 17 years.
Development prices are very attractive. Instead of trying to rent the land for, not a lot of money, they make the decision to sell the land.
How can we stop it? I really don't know, because you have more people trying to live in the city. They want a better quality of life, right? So they need to develop more housing. So it's a very difficult problem to solve.
As 2 million more people are expected to call the Tar Heel State home by 2035, farmland's expected to continue dwindling, cutting into the state's biggest revenue generator and creating a food supply problem.
It's going to take agriculture continuing to be innovative. Essentially, we need to yield more per acre in terms of crops, and we need to yield more in terms of livestock.
So we have to conserve all the farmland that we have right now. But in addition to that, we have to find new ways to produce more food.
It tells me the end of the road's approaching.
The high-tech farm tractors of tomorrow will enable farmers to get more out of their existing crops.
Nowadays, if you look inside a modern tractor cab, we've probably got more computing power packed in the cab of that tractor than a lot of people have in their home. Probably more than some people have in their office.
I'm painting a line on my AB line, which I've already gone through some of the field.
That system there will make a steering correction dozens of times a second. Human operator, nowhere near that fast. We did a study in peanuts in the eastern part of the state. Just by putting automatic steering in a tractor, we were able to gain about 11% yield out of that field. Enhanced technology is what's going to make the farmer more productive. We can get some gain, some benefits, of course, from better varieties, better genetics, but once we put seed into the ground, technology is what enables us to maximize what we get out of that seed.
Other emerging technologies take farmland out of the equation entirely, just like this green technology developed by NC State scientists that enables crops like lettuce, tomatoes, and carrots to grow in small spaces, indoors.
We use different light colors, wavelengths, intensities, and light duration in order to manipulate the plant or steer the plant for specific outcomes. To give you an example, we can make a plant that can grow a little faster, or we can make the plant to have a larger leaf area, or we can make the plant to stay very compact or very stretched.
These vertical LED crops require minimal water and no pesticides and can be grown indoors anywhere in any time of year. The plants grow almost twice as fast with up to 50% greater yield than on a traditional farm.
It's a perfect way to alleviate some of that pressure, have that local production. So I don't think this technology is going to replace the importance of farm. I think it's just a complement.
So let's go look at our farm in a box.
And there is already a new breed of farmers using LED technology outside of the lab.
We try to keep the herbs up here in the front of the crop box because some of them are very delicate and they require some attention. I was working with an intellectual property law firm and I was starting to feel it's not how I wanted to end my career. This is chervil.
Tammy Perdue started growing microgreens as a hobby 4 years ago.
I grew them on my front porch at first. I then expanded into my sunroom in soil. We were growing in soil to taking these shipping containers and these abandoned shipping containers and renovating them and turning into food spaces. It's ideal. Because it grows so much in such a small space, that grows about an acre every 10 days of food. An acre of what you could grow in soil. It's water efficient. We use the same water, we recycle RO water through there and refill the tanks just about every 3 or 4 weeks. So it's just that same water going through the system. So we use 1/100th of what a farm uses for an acre of watering.
You consider yourself the farmer now?
I really do. So we are now in about 40 restaurants in the Triangle. We are in 5 farmers markets, which is wearing us out. But it's the most fabulous experience in the world. There are 788 farms in Wake County, and there's one of these.
So you're a pioneer.
I guess. I have a lot of help.
Help that could halt North Carolina's vanishing harvest.
Our hope would be that we can enhance the productivity to the point that it becomes even more viable to maintain agricultural production on a wide range of farm sizes. We've got to keep pushing the envelope. Better production technology, better varieties, better management, all of that's going to be key to staying on top of it.
There's reason to be nervous as well, but I'm optimistic that places like NC State can help private industry or work with farmers to make these yield increases and become more productive.
I worry about the pressures it's going to put on people that are still farming. Agriculture needs to stay for more than one reason, not just for the food supply, but for your health and quality of life.